This is where I get all of my prep food from. Hello. Just going for a walk to the servo. What? If you wanted to know where I'm at in prep right now, that's where I'm at in prep right now. I'll just drop everything. Hi, welcome back to the tube. The whole crew's here today. The whole crew's here to bring me up, to lift me up. Can we keep the domestics off the tube, please? No, we're back on the tube. Today's gonna be something a little bit different. So I'm listening to my body. Belsh and I had a good chat about this today, didn't we, Belsh? About listening to your body, understanding when to push, understanding when to pull back. So we're gonna listen to my body. We're gonna do a rest and recovery day today. So we're gonna do some hydrotherapy, sauna, ice baths, compression boots. We're gonna go see Mario. It's just gonna be a big recovery day today. So had a high carb day yesterday and we did 700 grams of carbs and it was a lot of food. It was a lot of food. So that's the second refeed or high carb day we've done in the last 2 weeks. And then when we get back from a walk, Tom's probably gonna have a look at me, see where the body is at from a physique standpoint, and then gauge what we're gonna do with food over the next couple of days. So just going for a walk, getting some steps in, gonna get a coffee or something like that. So the whole crew is going. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So we leave in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, we're off to New York. We got a hectic couple of weeks coming up. So we've got the Victorian or the Australian national titles in Victoria this weekend. So that's gonna take up most of my weekend. And then the following weekend is Rory's birthday and Mother's Day. So 2 pretty hectic weekends coming up before we fly out Monday morning. And it's just a matter of making sure everything's all organized. So we covered the accommodation today. So flights are all booked. Oh, this is fancy. So flights are all booked. Accommodation's pretty much all done, would you say? That's pretty much good to go. So, and then it'll just be the internal flights around the US whilst we're there. That will sort of book last minute once we sort of know exactly where we want to be and when we want to be and things like that. So we're going to go for a walk, grab a coffee, come back. Mitch and I are going to go get some treatment, some hydrotherapy done. We'll come back, get some treatment with Mario, and then that's it. That's the day. I'll say the exact same thing that I would when I'm not in prep, but because I have no emotion and I'm very monotone, it just sounds terrible. Like my delivery is terrible. Yeah, so we filmed episode 1 of Belsh's Zero Boundaries podcast. I'm retarded due to the situation.
Yeah, and you'll do funny retarded shit, but he'll just go along with it and get you in trouble.
I'll be like, do you want to do this? This sounds like a good idea. And Mitch will be like, yeah, let's do it. And before you know it, we're jumping off the Empire State Building or some shit like that.
Like Tom needs to be the dad of this trip.
Yeah. Well, I was saying how, if Mitch is going to come home after 2 weeks and Tom and I decide to stay, the contrast of the 3 of us spending time together for 2 weeks compared to just me and Tom being alone for 2 weeks is going to be so ridiculously different. This is where I get all of my prep food from. Call KFC, Coles Express. How quickly do you reckon you could eat this entire block of chocolate? I love caramel. Caramel's my shit. The amount of money that I would have saved if I used my Flybuys and card and stuff like that. Iced double espresso, iced long black. Low fat, no fat, full cream. Mars Lamington flavour. Thank you. Thanks, Dad. Muscle Nation. That's what I got. Muscle Nation doing a 20% off site-wide today. This video won't be up in time for people to realise, but 20% off the entire Muscle Nation website today. Sups, apparel, accessories, everything. So my thought process for 4 pairs of shoes. One pair of shoes that are going to be comfortable to walk in, so for cardio and things like that. Crocs are a non-negotiable. So runners, Crocs, a pair of high top Jordans, and a pair of low top Dunks. So I've got 1 shoe for each occasion that we need to do. Does that make sense? Or do I take 3 pairs and buy a pair over there? We might get some additional luggage on the way home, buy another bag and fill it up with all kinds of goodies. I gotta bring a big check home, so that's gonna be a nuisance. Do you know I've also found out that I do deep in prep? I don't show emotion, I tell it. So instead of, like when you make a joke, instead of laughing hysterically, I'm like, Mitch, that's really funny. Rather than getting upset or raise my voice, I'm like, that upsets me quite a lot. I don't show emotion, I communicate it. So like the ice will restrict blood flow and then the warm will enhance blood flow. So by like restricting and then opening up and restricting and then opening up, it improves the circulation. you think carb-wise? 200? 150, 200? Perfect. So today, especially because we're doing a pure recovery day, 150 today. So 250, 150, 50 will be today and tomorrow. I can do that, no problems at all. I'll be like flat and hard tomorrow for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Like once this like vacuum will be super deep. Yeah, I think we'll be on. I just want to get that like the lower back like really in, the glutes really in. Yeah, like just in there. Yeah. No, definitely not. And like,
That shot is actually huge.
yeah. Okay, cool. Sweet. So
Our main concern would be that he loses body parts, like so he loses his legs, because we want that front relaxed shot to be his best shot. Since that is the first shot that they're gonna show in your quarter turns, I think that's the most important thing, that he hits a really good front relax. And if we diet him too much, you know, his quads aren't going to be impressive, and then it's all going to fade from there. Without full quads, it's going to make the illusion that a waist is thick when it's not, when he's got a super, super small waist. So I want to push him as hard as possible without seeing anything fade. And that also comes to his arms too. His arms there look really, really good. As soon as they get too flat, then it's just going to make every shot look really bad. For some reason, like small arms on a front double makes you look really thick through the torso. And Matt filled out, his arms look fantastic. So at this spot, it's awesome. Want him to look like this, but 2 more weeks to get even more dice. So doing that is totally achievable, which it just means that we're just going to monitor things a little bit closer. So,
I mean, we're pretty happy with the look that we had last night.
Yeah, last night was a really good look of 700 carb. So this time I feel like we can dig him deeper, feel him out more, but maybe just have the day a bit more organized and be like, cool, like just 100 gram carb meals 7 times.
Be interested to see how it would look putting like 1,000 grams of carbs over 2 days rather than 700 in one day. So
Absolutely, yeah.
I think that would be better from a distension standpoint.
Definitely. And the goal will be to get you so conditioned that we do that just before we go, and then deplete you back down before the flight and like that, and then just so we eliminate the variables of the flight of retaining water, because I don't think you will. I think you'll be so dry before then, but the always of what if could happen.
You always want to prepare for the worst and expect the best.
Because you think it's a 6 a.m. flight, so we're going to be up at 3, which means we're not going to sleep too well that night. And then if we don't sleep on the plane, we're going to get to New York at what time? What time do we arrive? If we arrive and then we can't sleep straight away, then we're going to miss 2 to 3 days of sleep. And what that can do to the body is crazy. So we've got to be ahead of the game so we can prepare for something bad to go on with circadian rhythm, sleep cycle, all that throughout the travel process. So it's a little bit different scenario now, peaking with the travel, but once we're there, we'll be able to troubleshoot any issues. So it's just put them in the best spot so that we don't have to do too much of that once we're in New York.
Maximus Decimus Meridius, leader of the armies of the North. Yeah, this is probably exhibit A as to why we stress about getting ready early, being ahead of schedule. You don't want to feel like you're getting to 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, and then having to really put the foot down, because that's when your body is at its most fragile, it's at its most vulnerable, body fat percentages are starting to get low. This is when you really need to start prioritizing recovery, looking after your body rather than burying it further into a hole. So, I listened to my body today, decided that training probably wasn't the best thing for me, so we came to a recovery center, and immediately I knew it was the best thing for me. The way that I feel now walking out compared to how I felt walking in is night and day different, like exponentially different. Centralizing myself, sauna, float tanks, ice baths, things like that, things to help proprioceptors and elicit a response within the body to help with inflammation and recovery. This is this is arguably just as important as your cardio, as your sleep, as your training, as your food, as your PEDs. You know, recovery is right up there with all of those things of what you need to be on top of and take care of, especially towards the end of prep. Like I said, you know, risk for injury is there. Fatigue is at an all-time high. Food is at an all-time low. So we need to manage those things accordingly. And, you know, today was a perfect example, and I'm very, very confident that we'll wake up tomorrow morning and I'll have my best look to date, purely because we've emphasized recovery today. And there's no doubting that in my mind. And the way that I feel mentally walking out of here, like I said, it's night and day different. You know, I probably wasn't in the greatest mood this morning. I was fatigued, run down, from nothing other than just prep in general. Like, it's not anything specific that's attributed to that. Like, it just gives you another insight into how we're going about it, what we're doing, and other little bits and pieces and nuances that, you know, you probably don't see in a lot of aspects. You know, you see a lot of training, you see a lot of day in the life of eating, but, you know, the treatment, we're going back to see Mario now, so we're going to get some more osteo treatment there. But there's so many variables that play a role in a competition prep, and this is just another one that we just add to the tally and tick the boxes every single day when we need to tick them, and on to the next one.